Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and so we're going to be talking about the Toronto Raptors potentially trading for Derrick White, as it was reported by Brett Siegel that the Raptors and Celtics have talked about a deal where Derrick White would go to the Toronto Raptors and the 9th overall pick would be involved. I'm going to be going over what I think this trade would be. This would be, I think, a big package back for Boston, probably the biggest package back that they would receive of all these trades. All these trades that they've made so far, whether Drew Holiday's going to Portland and they get Anthony Simons in 2 seconds, or when they send Porzingis to Atlanta and, you see them get George Niang and, a second-round pick back. I think in a Derrick White deal, they're going to get a lot of compensation back. And here's the trade I have happening. Derrick White and Sam Hauser going to Toronto. We did hear weeks ago before Holiday and Porzingis were moved that Sam Hauser was another guy that Boston was looking to move this offseason alongside Porzingis and Holiday. He was not involved in any of the trades Boston made yesterday and Monday night. And so I've got Derrick White and Sam Hauser going to Toronto on this deal. And then R.J. Barrett, Jakob Poeltl go to Boston. The 9th overall pick also goes with them alongside unprotected first-round picks in 2027 and 2029 that both belong to Toronto. Look, keep in mind, I think the Celtics are going to want a similar, a similar package is what the Grizzlies got back for Desmond Bane. Very similar. Derrick White, maybe you could consider a better player than Desmond Bane. One thing I look at is they're both two great shooting guards and have the same contract. Money-wise, year-wise, 4 years left on White's deal, averaged 16.4 points per game this year, 5 assists per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, shooting 38% from three as the third option most times, fourth option sometimes if Porzingis was out there. But then in the playoffs, sometimes, most of the time with Porzingis struggling or injured, he was the third option. Or when Tatum was out for the couple games, he was the second option. He averaged 19 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game, shooting 39% from three on 10 attempts from three in the playoffs. So I think he could be a really good addition for the Raptors, pairing Derrick White next to Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram potentially. It would make Toronto, I think, a team in the Eastern Conference that could go from outside the play-in to in the play-in to potentially playoffs, especially with how the Eastern Conference is looking next season with some of these teams that are really banged up with some torn Achilles. You look at Halliburton and the Pacers, you look at the Celtics and Tatum, you look at Damian Lillard and the Bucks. And so it would be a great trade for them. We'll see if this deal potentially happens. I just watching SportsCenter. Shams was on there talking about not Derrick White specifically to the Raptors, but talking about the fact of potentially seeing Derrick White or Jaylen Brown traded, as there are they don't want to do it, but they are getting a bunch of calls about it right now and they're listening to it. So these offers, but Derrick White to the Raptors, I think, would be a great trade. One of the best trades for the Celtics when it comes to Derrick White, because I like the idea of them getting back Jakob Poeltl, a center. It seems like there have been some reports that the Celtics also could lose Al Horford in free agency. They just traded Kristaps Porzingis. I love Luke Cornett, but you could add in another center. Jakob Poeltl is a guy who almost averaged a double-double last year at 15 and 10. And then R.J. Barrett, obviously another really good player as well, averaged 21, 6, and 5 last year. So it'd be a new-look Celtics team, because if there's no Jason Tatum, the team is, you've got really, you don't know who's at point guard. That'd be another problem for Boston, because no Derrick White. I guess Anthony Simons would be at point guard, not shooting guard. So it'd be Anthony Simons, R.J. Barrett, Jaylen Brown, George Niang, and Jakob Poeltl is the new look Celtics. Peyton Pritchard off the bench, Luke Cornett off the bench. It'd definitely be a new look for the Celtics. But if this trade were to happen, that's what they look like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out.